Email, and with me is Joe Drilling,
Hello, hello, hello.
Kurt Adam,
Come on and stream. Everybody's
and
doing it.
Morbid Coffee
Everybody's
is
doing
also
it.
here hanging out with us.
Whoa.
What's up? What's up, buddy?
So we were just talking about Zelda between Genesis and the stream,
Uh-huh.
and I think we're gonna probably be talking about quite a bit of Resident Evil tonight since this is Resident Evil 2. But
Playing some
I did want
Resident
to
Evil
say-
fucking 2 right now. This is the GameCube version emulated through Dolphin. I've tried to play the PlayStation version of Resident Evil 2, and also the Nintendo 64 version of Resident Evil 2, which is secretly like the best
secret
version
best
of it.
You've got a mouse cursor in the middle of your screen, by the way.
Do I?
Yeah, you
Is
do.
it gone now?
You don't know about the GameCube mouse cursor?
Yeah, you know, the infamous
the
GameCube
N60
mouse.
Yeah, the N64 version of
Leon
it
or
is gone.
Claire?
The N64 version, Leon. Let's go with Leon.
All right.
The N64 version of Resident Evil 2 is the secret best version, but this version is interesting.
It's
Because the
it's
version
like
you're playing is the
$100
only-
on Amazon, which I learned
This one?
when I was looking up prices. Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculously
apparently very
expensive.
difficult to get your hands on. The Dreamcast version of Resident Evil 2 is also pretty good.
This version and the Dreamcast version are basically the same, except this version is the only disc-based version to come on one disc.
Resident Evil 2.
Two.
So good.
Yeah. So this game is the only, or this version I should say, is the only version that comes on one disc, which
Yes.
is very convenient.
Yep.
But the Dreamcast version is cheaper than this one. But they're both like weirdly not hard to find, but expensive.
Yeah.
Because this is, I guess, a super popular game, but it's also like super easily accessible. And I don't know that I don't think any of the version, like the Dreamcast version, maybe has some outfits that aren't in some of the other versions, but basically all of the versions except for the N64 version, which was ported by a different studio, they're all the same as the DualShock version.
Right.
Like, so there's not really a compelling reason to spend $100 on the GameCube version over just getting the DualShock version of RE2 on the PlayStation Network.
You can play Resident Evil 2 with a GameCube controller. Nah?
Yeah,
It's better
that-
than
I
playing
mean,
it
actually,
with a fucking Dreamcast controller, I'll tell you that much.
yeah, that's true. I was gonna say I actually really like the GameCube controller
It's
as long as
actually
you're not playing.
yes, it's good for
like-
for Resident Evil 4 and
Yep.
Mario Sunshine and third-person action games. Even like Prince of Persia plays really good with a GameCube controller because that's how I played that. The Splinter Cell games are pretty good with it too, but anything other than that very specific type of game kind of plays
Yeah,
like garbage with that controller.
It's garbage for fighting games, as we were discussing between streams.
Yeah.
It's terrible for Capcom versus SNK2. It's
Yep.
terrible for the Mega Man Anniversary Collection was terrible because they reversed the jump and shoot buttons.
Also, the D-pad on the GameCube controller is kind
Yeah.
of, it's like an appendix. It barely exists.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a Game Boy Player controller that you can get that Hori made that is really nice. Has a nice big D-pad, no sticks on it because it's literally made for the Game Boy Player, but it's also like stupid expensive. It's similar to like the Hori Mini controller for the N64, and that it's like this really dope controller but it's hard to come by now and really in high demand. So.
I'm really enjoying the super up-resed, blown up FMV
Right.
cutscene
It's
from
like-
the PlayStation version that's so like dithered and compressed and horrible looking.
Yeah, it's nice that it's up-res, but it's still the same shitty quality FMV. It's just like
I
you
was
can see more clearly how shitty it is.
gonna ask if you saw the Hori arcade stick they announced for the Switch.
I
It's like
did.
10 times the size of the actual console.
Yeah, and here's the thing. That thing looks super dope, but again, it's one of those things where it's like you have to give me more than a port of a literally 20-year-old Street Fighter game to make me want
Buy
to
a
shell out the
$100
kind of
stick.
money, yeah, to buy a fucking $100.
Or, I don't know how much is it. I don't know if
It's like
actually-
$100.
It's if it's the real action
It's a
or whatever it is, the
real
RMP,
Action Pro.
it's gonna be really expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only time I've hooked my Switch up to my TV was when I was streaming it the other last week, basically.
I switch back and forth.
Do you?
No pun intended.
Have you scratched
Yeah.
out your screen yet?
No, I
Did you
got
buy
a screen
some screen
protector.
protector? Okay, I haven't
did.
done that yet. Which
I saw the Glixel comment about it, and I was like, all right, I'll get a protector too.
Right. And screen protectors are like $1, so
Yeah.
there's
exactly.
really any mobile device that you have should have a screen protector on it.
Yeah, I need to reapply mine. There's a little gunk
Little bubble.
under it that I didn't see until it was bright.
Too late.
Yeah. It's like, damn it.
So how do
I
you
got it
feel
from-
about your Switch so far, Kurt?
I like it so far. I got a bundle from GameStop.
Okay.
So the night that they went on sale, they put bundles on sale for like 15 minutes or something.
Right.
And I was just like, yeah, okay, because they'd said up front that was going to happen. So I was like, poke, poke, poke. Oh, hey, I got one. Okay, great. So the bundle was the Switch, Breath of the Wild, and a Pro controller. And
Okay.
it was like, well, I want all those things anyway, so great, fine. Like, it's not like when I had to buy.
They didn't make you
You
buy
know,
a
and-
1-2 Switch. And
Yeah, exactly. You need to
that
buy
fucking
this and
awful
3
Bomberman
games.
game.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
saw some bundles that were like $500 for a Switch and Zelda and one
Right,
Switch.
pretty much
and,
all the games.
And that
yeah.
Bomberman game that just looks god awful.
Yeah, the
I'll let you know
reviews have
because my
not been
parents gave it to
positive.
me for my birthday.
Okay.
But I got the
Isn't your
box
birthday,
while
like,
I was
tomorrow?
gone. Tomorrow, yeah.
Happy birthday.
This
Thank
is
you.
just the beginning of their worst nightmare. All right, let's see if I can remember how to play Resident Evil.
You know, we should remember.
Oh no, shit. Okay, this is not going so well here. It has been
So-
a minute since I played a classic tank style Resident Evil game. So I definitely there was a point in my life where I could navigate this beginning without taking a hit, but I've already taken 2. So
I think I can still do it. I think I can still navigate the opening until you get to the gun store without taking any hits. So Kurt, so,
gun shop and kendo.
Yeah, Kendo's gun shop.
Is that the name of the guy? That
No,
owns
that's the name of the
shop?
guy. Robert Kendo is the name of the guy.
Okay, I didn't know
Nice.
he had a name.
Yeah.
So
I played.
So the upshot of my story was I got the stuff that arrived while
Hold
I was
on.
in New York.
what are you doing there?
I cracked it all open and no Pro controller.
Oh,
Oh,
So I had to call them and go, hey. They're like, oh, we're really sorry. Okay, we'll send it on. So I don't have that part yet.
that was the part I was most interested in. I was going to ask,
Me
how's the
too.
Pro controller?
Me too. So I've just been snapping on and off with it. But other than that, I mean, I think it's real nice. You know, I thought that I would not like the way that the controls are laid out on the Joy-Cons, but it seems fine.
are you playing when you play it hooked to your TV? Are you using the little adapter for the Joy-Cons, or are you just holding them in your
Yeah,
hands?
I use the little grip thing.
I hate the grip thing, but I found that playing them just holding them, like
Yeah.
one in each hand with your hands at your sides, was actually pretty comfortable.
I was going to try that as well, just to see what I thought.
Because when you slide them into that thing, it kind of feels like a Dreamcast controller with a slightly more ergonomic design, and it's just not. I didn't like it very much.
It would be
I could
hard
see
for
that.
a Dreamcast controller to have a less ergonomic
Right.
design.
Well, the biggest difference, honestly, is that the Switch Joy-Con holder has kind of a bulbous hand grip, as opposed
Yeah.
to those super sharp corners that the Dreamcast had.
Exactly.
All right, so
Yeah.
I have to grab the ammo, right, and then the zombies come in.
If you walk towards the door, they'll come in.
Okay.
Um,
And I get a shotgun, right, if I kill these zombies.
if you kill the zombies, yeah, you can get.
Is it
you
worth
can
it
pick up
to-
his shotgun?
You get a shotgun just by going to the police station as well, right? Am I
Yeah,
crazy?
pretty early on. I mean, it depends. If you're like trying to speed run to get like the chain gun or something, then usually the recommendation is to leave him there, and just not worry about it. But
get the
if
shotgun.
yeah, may as well. Yeah. So this game, I'm really interested to see what they do with this game since they finally said they're finally going to remake it.
Oh man.
Because people have been begging since the remake of 1 came out, like remake 2, it's so good.
Yeah, this is by far the best of the classic Resident Evil.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's not even close in my opinion.
Well, so do you include the remake of 1 in that
Yeah,
statement?
absolutely. I like this a lot more than even that.
I agree with you, but I think a lot of people would say that the remake is better, but I agree with you. Two is fantastic. And,
Just
and
from like, I like the story and the setting of this game better than the first game, regardless of which.
the
version that
zapping
you're
system
talking
is
about.
super cool.
It's
I
really
think.
cool. Yeah, the way that these two stories play into each other differently.
What is the
depending on-
zapping system?
Well, so in the opening cutscene, you see Leon and Claire Redfield, who is Chris Redfield's sister, who's a character from the first game, and they get separated when that semi smashes into the gas station. And so when you first boot up the game in the PlayStation version, there was actually a disc, one for Leon and one for Claire. And playing through the game as the two different characters, like they go through the same environments, but they encounter different characters and there's different story stuff that you come across. And so playing Claire first and Leon second, or playing Leon first and Claire second, actually like leads you to a slightly different story overall. Like the games interconnect in different ways too, based on which way you play through the game. And it's a really, it's like a really cool way to play through a game. And it's like something that it's one of those things that like the multiple characters in Eternal Darkness, that it's weird that nobody else has really messed with that in any significant way since then. It's like one of those great ideas that was kind of like they did it right the first time, but you can see that there was like potential for like a bunch of different like ways that could have been really cool, and nobody really messed with it after that.
Weren't you talking about this like a few days ago about how in this version you can switch the stories on the fly or something?
I mean,
GameCube one?
they're both in the same disc, so you can have saves of the same thing without having to change discs. But
No, I thought you were saying that there was some option where you can switch in the middle of playing like one story, immediately go to the other.
I don't think so. I think it's the same as.
No, I think
it's
yeah,
just
I
all
don't
on
think
one
so.
disc.
Yeah.
I saw something when you paused the game for a second that said Claire's story.
Was there?
Yeah, you might be able to like
I
just
don't know.
punt out, but I don't think you can.
Oh yeah, Claire's story. Yes, no. I'm not gonna do that until I get to a save point, but maybe you can just switch back and forth. That would be really cool, actually, because I don't think you can do that in any other versions of this game.
No, but I feel like that's something I would know. Like,
Yeah, that seems
switch
like
on the
something that would be
fly.
notable in the history of the series, but maybe you can since it's all on one disc. I'll get to the police station and save, and then we'll check that out. But yeah, this is this also has by far the best box art in the history of the Resident Evil series.
oh yeah,
Which you can see below.
yeah,
my
and
face
the
there.
British
It's
box
so
art is
good.
actually cool too.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a negative image photography thing of zombie face.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool looking.
So yeah, I will say I really have enjoyed playing Zelda. Like I said last week, laying in my bed and having a full-fledged game of that style, and just luxuriating on my back.
Right,
has
playing
been-
portably, yeah.
Yeah, the height of decadence, truly.
It's
Especially
super nice
when
to
you
just be
factor
playing.
in, get yourself a nice bottle of sparkling flavored seltzer water and maybe a bag of Cadbury's mini eggs, which are now available since it's around Easter time. Get some dark chocolate ones, just eat those and lay on your back and fucking play Zelda and feel fucking awful about it the next day, but
I
regret
really
nothing,
wish I
yeah.
played the Switch version of Zelda. Like after today, I really wish I did. So,
Yeah, I was going to talk about something that annoyed me, and now I totally lost my train of thought and don't remember.
It is super nice to be playing it like on my TV and then be like, I'm feeling tired, and just yank it out and walk
Or-
upstairs and go to bed.
I have to poop.
Yeah,
You just pick it up and you just fucking
there's
go
also
poop.
that.
It's great.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
pausing.
Nope.
I'm sure everyone knows by now, but the Wii version has a lot of frame rate issues. I'd probably say more than the Switch version does, because apparently the Switch version runs fine in portable mode.
Yeah,
I did
there was.
That's what I hear.
I had a
So-
few problems in some fights where the frame rate wasn't just bad, but died a horrible screeching death. Like the game chunked up to the point where it just stopped working for a few seconds.
I had that a lot in the Wii version.
Yeah.
And the final dungeon, the whole thing on the Wii version runs in 20 frames per second because of all the particle effects going around.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my game also decided to do Endless Rain, which killed the frame rate even more.
Mhm.
And it was just fucking horrible trying to get through it at like 10 frames per second the whole way through. It's like I was desperate to get indoors so I didn't have to look at the rain so my game would run.
Isn't there, Joe, in that area I just went below the police station? Isn't there when you play through the second time, there's a special zombie that drops a key there? Correct.
He'll appear. It's Brad from
the first game.
from Stars beta team or whatever.
Yeah.
He'll appear no matter what, but you can't shoot anything on your way to the police station.
Oh, okay. I knew that was something. And then he drops a key to a special.
He drops a key to a
case or
special
something.
closet, which has special
The
bonus
special
outfits.
outfits or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Poverty Game Night says, I recently replayed 1, 2, and 3, and I'd have a hard time deciding which I like most. For me, it's 2 and a walk.
Of course, you've never played 3.
That's true. I've never played 3.
Man, this PlayStation music is so.
I
fucking
own
good.
multiple copies of it, but I've never played it.
Do you have the Dreamcast version?
I own the Dreamcast version and the PlayStation version.
Okay.
But 1 I like, and I've played through 1 a lot. The director's cut, the original. I have the long box version of 1.
Yeah.
Which is actually super hard because they took out the auto aim and stuff, so you don't automatically lock onto the nearest enemy.
All right. I say I'm gonna check out that. Let's see what happens if I try and switch to Claire's story. Loading Claire's story. I guess you can't just you can actually zap back and forth raw dog.
Yeah.
Can I live? I don't.
But
think
you're
I
just
have a
gonna
save
go
Claire,
back to the
do I?
beginning though, right? You're not actually it's just taking you to, it's like you just switch discs basically.
We'll play a little bit and then switch and see where you start the other story.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume it would just start over. So it's just you're just loading. You're just it would be like having save games and swapping discs.
And swapping the disc,
Yeah.
yeah. Because you have to beat it with one character to play through the
Yeah.
the I don't know if we explained this, Kurt, well enough, but basically there's Leon's version of the story and Claire's version of the story, and then when you beat it with them, you unlock the ability to play the other half of that story with the other character.
Claire A, Leon B, Leon A, Claire B, and then there's slight differences in all those. And there's also big differences between each character's version of events.
You play as Tofu.
Yeah.
And then you
yeah,
play
it's
as Tofu.
just-
Well, you play as Hunk before you play as
Claire.
Tofu.
Anyway, that's still cool though.
Hunk and tofu are not the same thing.
No.
No.
Hunk is an Umbrella operative who is sent in to get a sample of the G virus.
And
Tofu-
Tofu is Tofu.
Is a big white.
I mean,
block
tofu
of
I know is a big block of tofu. I thought
So-
his name that was called Hunk.
No. Hunk has actual weapons and stuff. Tofu only has a knife.
Yeah.
But you play through the same. It's like the same scenario. It's the
Yeah, it's like a mini game. There, I made it to the gun shop without taking a hit that time. Also, you get to listen to the gun shop owner be like a sexist jerkhole.
Should be DLC.
Sorry
for
about
Resident
that,
Evil
babe.
7. Just turns the whole
Freeze.
family in Resident Evil 7 to tofu.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Don't shoot! I'm a human!
Some really class A dialogue in this game. I actually really like. I feel like this game
Sorry about
sort
that,
of
babe.
splits the difference between good dialogue
I
and
thought
good
you
voice
were one of
acting and campy dialogue
What's
and campy
going
voice
on in
acting.
this town?
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
This game just
I ain't
kind of
got no
gets it
clue,
just right,
darling.
which I
By the
really,
time I
which is
noticed
another
something
reason
was
I think
wrong,
it's my
The
favorite.
entire city was infested with zombies.
Yes, tofu is a hunk of tofu, but a hunk is not tofu.
So is the voice acting
That is
better or worse
deep.
than Breath of the Wild?
I mean, it's probably technically worse, but I like it a lot more.
What if Leon had a fake British accent?
And talked really breathy like Yuna from Final Fantasy. That's right, I get a bowgun with Claire. Let's see if I can get the special key, I guess.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Just like, I should flip back to Leon and fight the liquor.
Liquor, you liquor.
I'll do that later. Let me see if I can get through this without... This is the hardest part of getting through that without taking the... without getting killed, because these, this alleyway is really narrow. It's harder to juke these fools. One. There we go. Go. I'm still in better shape than I was when I did it with Leon. So are you gonna get anything else for your Switch, Kurt, or are you kind of good with Zelda?
There's nothing I'm dying to have yet.
If I had somebody to play it with, I might get Snipper Clips. That game looks really dope.
Yeah,
so
I've heard
I-
good comments about that. I was gonna dig into that a little more.
1-2 Switch is really fun too, but it's just not worth
$50?
$60, $50. Yeah, it's worth like $20.
Yeah, it's a ridiculously overpriced thing.
Apparently, you can preload the Splatoon 2 beta now.
What it's not till next weekend, right?
Next week it starts, but the download is up now. It's live, and if you try to do it, all you get is like a loading screen. It tells you the servers are down.
Well, we'll stream some of that next weekend, maybe.
Yeah, I can judge you. I played a lot of
I've
Splatoon
never
1.
played Splatoon. So.
I got S+ rank in Splatoon competitive, and I hate myself, but I love that game.
It's real good.
Poverty Game Note says he used a Game Shark code to use Leon's model and Claire's storyline, which made the game really awkward.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. I tried to play the PS1 version of this game through emulation. Oh shit, I might be fucked here. Oh, ooh, this is getting hairy. I tried to play the PlayStation 1 version of this through emulation, but the PlayStation 1 has like this weird coding. It's not even like an error, but the reason that like the polygons, and you don't notice it so much when you're playing it on an actual CRT TV, but when you're playing it in like when you're like rendering it at a higher resolution than it's meant to be, you really see all these weird glitches where like the thing is like drawing the polygons in slightly different places all the time, because the way that the PlayStation like rounds up where to put all the pixels changes like constantly because of the way that it rounds those. And so that's why like games like Metal Gear and other things look so weird and swimmy all the time.
Metal Gear.
And
Exactly.
when you try and play those games at a real high resolution, they look fucking weird. That zombie wasn't there, Joe.
That's a game you should play for. Was it one of
You didn't
these?
kill anything?
I don't think so.
You didn't shoot around. You can't shoot your gun at all.
I don't think so. I still have a full clip and I have the 60 bullets, so
So if you're looking for more games to play during these streams,
maybe it's
you have
different.
you have the emulator running. You should probably check out Twin Stakes for GameCube.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
That would be an interesting watch. See how bad it is.
I'm gonna save this and then I'll go fight the liquor.
Oh, Twin Snakes. I thought you said Twin Steaks, and I was trying
Yes.
to figure what the fuck you were talking about.
Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Stakes.
Yeah.
So how is Resident Evil 7? What is it? Madhouse mode?
Yeah. So
How's that going? Because you were
that was what I was.
struggling with that when you streamed it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, well, so one thing is that's where I wanted to finish my thought from earlier, is that I was saying I'm not sure what they're going to do with the remake of 2, if they're going to try to bring it in line with 7, and it's like weird first person and all that stuff.
I doubt it.
But,
I hope not.
yeah, I sort of hope not too.
There's going to be people pissed off if they do that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the Final Fantasy VII remake is making some pretty significant changes. So
Well, that's
That's good because
where-
that game is bad. So
Well, right. Yeah, agreed. But
Capcom likes to play it safe with their properties. They like to piss people off with new properties, but with their old properties, they just like to rehash the same stuff. Square Enix does whatever the fuck they want because they're made of money.
Yeah.
yeah, well, so but Resident Evil 7's Madhouse mode, it's like you have to like motherfucker. You have to. Sorry, I'm doing this thing where I have to like take this blue fire and like carry it up this mountain and like.
Hopefully it doesn't start raining.
It always
Well, it
rains
just
in
like
Hyrule.
it just like burned out my. It can't rain all the time, Paul.
Nice.
It just like broke the thing that I had. Like it was, I had this shitty wooden spear that was burning, and it just like burned it to ash. Apparently,
You can use arrows too if you touch arrows to fire.
Also,
they'll
you
light on
can light
fire
the
and then you can shoot
torches.
them.
You can light the sconces along the way.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
that
if you
makes
lose
sense.
fire along the way, you don't have to go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. So
I was reading along and I was like, "Hey, can I do? Yep, I can. Great."
I just chop a tree down so I can get another something to carry the fire on. Anyways, yeah, I was definitely having some trouble, and legitimately, I will say that the, and of course that tree didn't drop any sticks. The opening, that's an idea. That's what I'll do. Sorry.
Zelda's a big
The
Madhouse mode in Resident Evil.
yes. So what Resident Evil 7 Madhouse mode does is it sort of changes the way the game is played in a lot of ways. So it's not just like, oh, it's harder. It's like, oh, this is like a different experience. And because of that,
You have to block.
the first you have to block. That shit is not fucking around. You have to block. But the first boss fight is like now one of the hardest things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you don't have any of your stuff.
Ah.
So you're in this position where it's like, okay, you know, I have a gun and a certain number of bullets, and it basically gives you exactly the number of bullets that you need to do the fight successfully.
Ugh.
And you are pretty much hosed if you don't get like,
You got to take
20
that hoe to
headshots.
Headshot City.
yeah, you really do. You really do.
Where the grass is red.
Headshot City. Headshot City.
Yeah, if it's not all headshots all the
Hit
time,
69 of 420 headshot attempts. Headshot City.
you're totally fucked if you don't.
Okay.
If you don't headshot her with pretty much every bullet you have. There's a melee weapon you can get. There's like a hatchet you can pick up at one point. But if you miss it, like I missed it, you can't go back for it without reloading an old save. And yeah, it basically turns into like play perfectly or you're fucked for that boss fight. But later it gets easier. It's not quite the same as like playing Symphony of the Night with the luck code, which basically like inverts the difficulty curve. The beginning is super hard and the end is super easy. It's not quite to that level, but it definitely
Oh no.
is really hard at the beginning. There's some other boss fights that are like not what I would call easy. I mean, like everything is harder, right? Like that's the point. So everything is harder, but it's not
that first
like,
fight specifically is what was really the hardest.
Yeah, that's like the biggest sticking point, and I can see that even on subsequent playthroughs being the case. Now, the other thing that I saw is that when you play on, even if it's your first time playing on the harder difficulty, you get all your goodies that you earned that you unlocked. You know, like in this game, you get the chain gun and the machine gun and the rocket launcher and all that stuff. Like if you unlock any of that stuff, you can play through on your first playthrough of hard mode. There's no requirement that you play through it without any of that stuff. So some people say like, oh, we'll just play through on easy and do the speed run and unlock the circular saw weapon, and then like you're sitting pretty because the circular saw like wrecks all the bosses even on hard mode. Like it just chews them up. But I didn't do that. And I was already like halfway through by the time I got to a point where I was sticking, and someone was like, oh yeah, just use the circular saw. And I was like, well, I don't have it, and I don't want to like play 6 hours of this over again. So looks like I'm just going to soldier on.
The head is missing. It seems to have been twisted off. I cannot express just how tense this moment was the first time I played this game.
Yeah.
Where you see
I don't
the
know if it's
thing,
quite
like,
on the level of the dogs jumping through the windows in the first
buzz
one.
by the. Well, this isn't a
But-
jump scare. It's more like a moment of tension because you know something extremely fucked up is about to happen, and you see the thing
Yeah,
by the
true.
weapon or by the window, but you don't really know what it is. And also, this blood drip sound effect is really fantastic.
Yeah.
And also, this is like the era when animated things in pre-rendered backgrounds was still kind of interesting and cool and unique.
Right.
Like, there's some things in Final Fantasy VII that are like that, but you did not see them that often. Now I just use the shotgun and
Yeah, you can kill that thing
Yeah.
really easily.
yeah,
Kind of a letdown.
yeah, a little bit.
Hey, it's Mike Ailes.
Hi.
The one and only. Must have
Fighting
finished
Spider-Man.
I did finish brewing beer.
How's your beer?
Well, right now it tastes like shit.
Okay,
I would not drink it right now if I were you.
okay,
It's because well, it's not beer. You can't call it beer. There's no alcohol in it yet.
right. It's just mash or whatever.
It's
Sugar, water, and yeast.
Yeah.
Waiting for the magic to happen.
What kind is this one?
This is going to be another hoppy beer because that's what I make a lot of the time. This one is based on a recipe that's designed to emulate Fort Point, which is a IPA from Trillium in Boston. And I've never had that particular beer of theirs, but they make real good stuff. So hopefully this will be a good beer. It relies heavily on the Columbus hop, which I've been wanting to use for a while. And I've had some really good beers with Columbus in them, so I'm hopeful that'll be good. And of course, a nice helping of Citra, which is going to get added in about a week or so for the dry hop.
Cool.
That's more than you
Good.
needed to know.
I've never had that particular beer, but that sounds pretty good.
There's a lot of Citra beer. Citra's a very popular hop, so if you're drinking IPAs, you will find it in.
I think
in a
is
lot of
that
them.
what the Sierra Nevada Torpedo stuff is a Citra hop, maybe?
I've never had that one, so I could not tell you.
That's very good.
I don't know about you guys, but we just got like a huge, incredibly big snowstorm here, and I actually had to shovel out a path from my back door to my basement door so that we could bring the kettle down to cool it once it was finished brewing.
Yeah.
And it felt really ridiculous to have this thing. Like I set up a big burner outside, big propane burner, and it doesn't mind, like it's below freezing, but that's not really a problem as long as it's not super windy.
Right.
But it felt really weird to be just boiling the stuff for like an hour with mountains of snow everywhere in the backyard, having carved a tunnel through the yard. So it was a weird choice. But on the bright side, the
how
ground
was the snow for you, and also for in the DC area? Did you guys get socked pretty good, or?
for us, it
Down
was
here-
apparently record setting.
Oh, really? Just for
Wow.
March? You
For like
mean,
for
or-
like a March, like 1 day snowfall or something along those lines. I don't have the details, but I've heard that it was record setting, and I believe it. We woke up this morning and I looked in the backyard and was like, "Oh man!" Like I knew there was going to be a lot of snow, but that's really something.
lousy Smarch weather.
Yeah, basically.
We got hit, but not the thing that was the worst for us, or at least where I am. I don't know. Kurt's a few miles from me, so like because I apparently in some places they did get it pretty badly, but where I am, the worst part was that it like froze. Like it started to thaw yesterday, and then it froze again overnight. So today it was like incredibly slippery everywhere.
That is a real
Here.
pain in the ass. We've had weeks like that around here this winter.
Yeah, but we
part
only
that I
got
like
like an
that we
inch
get
and a half
more-
of snow.
Yeah, we got a few inches. We didn't get a ton of ice.
Oh my god, we got like a
Last
foot and a
overnight.
half or something.
Yeah, that's what we got about. We got a little over a foot, somewhere between
And, like
16 inches or something like that, which isn't like the roads were bad for a couple of days, but that's not really something that makes any. That doesn't really phase anybody in this area. It's a little weird for March, but It took me almost an hour and a half to clean out our driveway because when you get a foot of snow everywhere else because of the way the wind blows across the road and through the field that is on the other side of the road, we end up with like 3.5 feet of snow in our driveway, which
Nice.
is super fun. Yeah.
My in-laws live in a place where there are 2 lanes of traffic going the same way, and it just all gets plowed onto their car every time there's a big snowfall.
Yeah.
And so they wind up with like a snowbank between their car and the road that's like 4 feet wide.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's how it is out in front of our house right now.
So, very quickly, I did want to say, just for Coffee's benefit, it did start raining while I was doing this damn fire
I
transport.
told you, it always fucking rains at the worst time in that game.
Like, which is
You
total
can see
bullshit.
there's an indicator at the bottom of the screen that tells you
Yeah, it tells you what
weather
the-
is coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a mountain you want to climb, it's going to rain. If you have something you have to transport, it's going to rain.
Can
You
you
know, it
wash
never-
your car in that game?
It never really
You can wash
bothered
your
me
horses.
that much. Like it never really seemed to. Like it was annoying a couple of times, but it never happened when it was super inconvenient.
It never happened when I was transporting something like flame, but it always happened whenever I fell down a mountain and I wanted to climb back up. So I run all the way around. I'm like, I'm just going to climb back up, and halfway up the mountain, it starts raining, and I can't climb up anymore and drop all the way to the bottom, and it just makes me run around the mountain and climb up the normal way.
Ugh.
That pissed me off.
So, Poverty Game Night says he thought it was that you couldn't pick anything up to get the secret key, and that might be true. I should have checked.
Maybe.
I thought it was you couldn't shoot anything, but it might be that you can't pick any items
I
up.
don't know.
And then Sneaky Turtle Egg says Final Fantasy VII is a bit overrated, and I think a bit is a bit
I
understating.
think that's fair. Like that game was great in its time, and I
I-
didn't like it a lot when I tried to play it on the PSP not that long ago, and it didn't hold up that well for me. But
I played it again
Um,
on Steam like a year ago, and I feel bad, but most of the time I was laughing at the story.
it's pretty bad,
Well, it's a real anime story. That game's been
and
through
the
ringer and-
translation is real rough. And yeah,
Well, of course.
But that game was everyone's favorite for a long time, and then like 10 years ago, it suddenly became really cool to hate on it. And I think the answer is somewhere in between. I think it's fun. I played it
It's
on the
alright.
PSP like 6 or 7 years ago, and I thought it was cool RPG game,
Mhm.
but not like it's not great. It's not a work of high literature or anything.
yeah.
I think it's fun because it's silly. When
Yeah,
everybody
it's
else
goofy.
that's like, oh, it's the best game of all time, takes it too seriously, and they're like, no, it's a serious story. I'm like, no, there's a fucking enemy in the game that's a pendulum, and his only move is to fall off the string he's hanging on.
Yeah,
That's silly.
There's a lot of silly stuff in that game.
absolutely.
Three houses.
Also, some weird homophobic and transphobic stuff, but Japan in the mid 90s.
Have you
No,
played Zelda?
Japan
'Cause
now.
that fucking there's some that like same exact joke is in goddamn Zelda Breath of the Wild, which
Yeah.
is very disappointing.
Yeah,
Also,
so I
there,
should say, I
well,
should
also
just
the
say,
last, not the last Ace Attorney, but the one before it. had,
Yeah.
like a-
I should just say Japan, but then Japan minus 20 years is just going to be worse.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah,
you know,
they have not.
No,
made-
the thing about
you
Final
can say
Fantasy
just
VII
Japan,
is like,
but it's also also the United States.
but
and
the
whatever.
battle mechanics are way worse in 7 than they are in a lot of other like the not necessarily the battle mechanics, but like the thing where like the only thing that really differentiates their characters is their limit breaks, because you can just put any materia on anyone and they can do
yeah,
anything.
I mean,
I got no problem with that.
I was always fine with that too, just because it meant that you got to use the characters that you wanted to use.
That's
You
rather
can have
than-
Sid in your party almost the whole time.
You can have you have Barrett in your party the whole time.
Like how I crapped out at the end of Final Fantasy VIII because,
Right. Yes.
or 9 because I didn't build up fucking what's her name, and I got wrecked on the like second to last boss.
6 was the same way, wasn't it? Where
Kind
eventually
of.
you could just use
Kind
whoever
of,
you
but
wanted, because
Six
Yeah, it
and
turns out you
one-
can go back and grind for 3 hours with this character and get her up to no fuck off.
Who is? I'm trying to remember who the.
Dagger or whatever the fuck her
So-
name.
Oh
Bob-
yeah, the main character Garnet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Poverty
Yeah.
Game Night
No,
says
Final
I've since
Fantasy IX
consulted.
use Vivi and Freya the whole game.
Right.
Period. Like
Yeah.
that's it. Like that's your
Right.
party. Yeah.
Exactly.
Poverty Game Night says I've since consulted an issue of Tips and Tricks magazine, and that's what it says.
Okay.
You put
Whether-
a call into Trickman Terry and
Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
That's what they
I probably
say.
should have just Googled it.
I prefer the method he used.
Okay, well, let's see.
It's
Here.
good.
Oh man, Resident Evil Puzzle Time.
Put the thing into the other thing that has the same shape as it.
No, this is pushing the thing onto the other thing that's on
Whoa,
the side
hey.
of the room. Yeah, this is a little more
Sliding block
complicated.
puzzles.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hate. I really liked this game when I played it. It's a cool ass game.
I'm still liking it. It's, like, I don't even mind. Like, we've talked about it before, but I don't even mind tank controls that much.
They're hard to go back to. I played the Resident Evil 1 remake for the first time maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it took me like a good 2 hours to really get comfortable with them again.
I feel like so. I feel like I'm getting it here. We've been playing for like 40 minutes, and I feel pretty comfortable enough. I don't like the secret of Resident Evil games, especially this one on normal mode, is it's okay to shoot things. I feel like that's kind of a myth of the early survival horror games to a certain extent. Is like, except for like the U.S. version of Resident Evil 1, for the most part. You can't
that's-
kill everything you come across, but you can kill most of the stuff you come across, or at least knock it down to make it safe to pass through the hallways, and it's totally fine.
I came at it from the other angle, thinking like this is a game with monsters and you got to kill them all. And eventually, it took me a while to unlearn that and realize that there are times when you just want to book it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing about 7 on Madhouse mode is there are creatures that you basically are just like, nope, not doing this. gotta run past it because it's stingy with the ammo. And again, like if you do the thing where you get the circular saw, because that's the thing, there is an infinite ammo thing, but you get it by beating the game on Madhouse. So you can't play through Madhouse with infinite ammo the first time. So there are definitely places where you just don't have the bullets to deal with something, and you just have to run past
Please
stuff.
forgive me, Claire. Ooh, and I found the unicorn medallion.
There's also, I think I mentioned this before when I was playing it on
it's
the
Claire.
stream, but there's a great moment in Resident Evil 7 where you like do a stupid thing to open a door, and Ethan goes, "Who the fuck designed?" Like, or it's just something like, "Who the fuck comes up with this shit?" And like as he's like going through this door that you have to like hold a shadow thing in front of a lamp, and it like creates a shadow on a portrait, and that unlocks a wall. And he's just like, "What the fuck?" Like it
Reminds me of Galaxy Quest. This episode is poorly written. Why is this here?
That way we can keep in touch if anything happens.
Okay. We have walkie-talkies.
Believe what is happening to this
Yeah, this was another really kind of mind-blowing moment when the other character shows up and you can talk to them.
I always loved PS1 era G.I. Joe hands.
Yeah, they're pretty
Or
good.
like Lego guy hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone must have seen
I
it.
still remember being impressed in Final Fantasy 13 when the characters had articulated fingers. That's recent. That's one of the first games I can think of where they
Those
actually
sausage
had.
fingers.
Yep.
I feel like
Like-
some PlayStation 2 games did that now. Or at least they made the index finger separate.
Probably the Metal
So-
Gear games, but those
Metal
were
Gear. No, they had like Lego paws for sure.
Okay.
In the first Metal Gear Solid.
no, but like 2 and 3.
Oh yeah, 2 and 3 they had. I'm sure they had articulated.
I feel like there were like some PlayStation 2 era games where it was still the Lego G.I. Joe hands, but they separated the index fingers so they could actually have the point instead of just pointing with their full hand.
Maybe I don't know. I will say that I'm working on a video right now that covers a lot of games from the same developer on the N64, and it
I'm sorry.
don't be. They're actually all good.
Okay. I mean, you said
For the most part.
N64,
So it can't be
I
rare.
did. Nope, it's not rare. But by the last game, like yeah, the characters suddenly have like individual fingers. It's like, oh, it took us how many years before we got individual fingers, and they can do taunts and point at things and make like hand signals now instead of just like doing the gesture and holding up their Lego paw, or whatever.
Well, N64 was like the block hands, wasn't it? It was just everyone had squares.
No,
I
they're
wanna
like
say
they're
most
like
of the time, yeah.
they're like sort of like 5-sided fist
They're like,
Yeah, block hands.
stumps.
Like the one that comes to mind is GoldenEye when I
Yeah,
think of
and
N64
Perfect Dark.
hands.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not perfect cubes though. They don't look that. That would look super weird. if they were.
That would be Final Fantasy VII hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't
right,
even have
yeah, yeah.
hands in Final Fantasy VII. They were just like stumps.
Yeah,
Those are like
that's what I was
six-sided
talking
cylinders
about. Yeah.
or something. But I don't know. I feel like even in PlayStation 2 games, it was pretty rare to get properly articulated individual fingers.
yeah.
Like maybe there was a static hand model where the fingers were separate, but they weren't moving all.
I want to
Fiddly-fiddly.
say
Yeah, or
Or-
like FMV hands, where they were like giant hands with super long, weird fingers, and they would like articulate in ways that made them look like they were like a rubber glove full of gelatin.
I'm gonna have to look it up, but I want to say like Dark Cloud 2 might have had individual fingers.
I don't know. I should play some Dark Cloud 2. I played
a hell of a
through-
game.
I played through the intro, but I haven't actually dug into it because Zelda came out, and so all my emulation stuff got put on the back burner.
What do they call the town building in that game? Geoscape
I
thing?
don't remember.
Geo. It's not. I don't think it's escaping, but it's something like that.
That's a real good game, but one that is kind of like twice as long as it needs to be.
Yeah, you gotta go through
Yeah.
all the dungeons and mini golf through all of them.
Yeah. Oh my god. Fuck that so hard. But also, like, there's so many levels and they're all randomly designed, and
It
there's not,
is.
there's not a lot of reason to do that many levels when they're not even going to be handcrafted.
It's the Georama.
Diorama.
Diorama.
I really like-
Diorama.
I really liked building my towns in that game.
Yeah, that was good. It was better than Dark Cloud 1, which was a little more. It felt like Dark Cloud 2 had a little bit more room for creativity or
Yeah.
whatever.
I was real sick when I played Dark Cloud 2 at one point, and my roommates moved our big CRT TV upstairs from the basement so I could sit on the couch upstairs and play it, I think.
Hmm. Oh man, you have to use items from your inventory in this game. No, just hit an A next to the thing that you want to use the thing on.
Yeah. Man, the music in the police station is so good. It's
Yeah.
like this perfectly haunting, like little melody that I really like.
This game is still really good. I'm really having a good time playing this. Actually, I'm gonna put this empty shotgun in my item box though. There's some things that that were introduced in Resident Evil 3 that I kind of wish were in this game though, like the quick turn and the ability to just walk upstairs without having to go through that whole weird animation. Precinct
This
key.
was something in Discord. Dark Cloud 2 did have individual fingers.
Did it?
So it was a thing in PlayStation 2, or
I don't know why I was so surprised to see them in Final Fantasy 13.
because they look like sausages.
But I was impressed. I remember thinking, wow, games can do fingers now,
Was it?
even if they look like sausages.
I thought Final Fantasy X characters had weird fingers, but
Well, I'm playing that now, actually, and
Why?
I don't really notice. I like that game a lot. I don't notice a whole lot about the hands being weird. Also, while all you suckers were waiting for the Switch to come out, I've been playing the Switch lifestyle by taking my Vita and my Vita PlayStation TV and transferring my save back and forth.
how's Zelda on the Vita?
Real good.
You mean Dark Cloud?
It's got actually better frame rate. You'd be surprised.
Did you guys see that PS Now is gonna get PlayStation 4 games and is also available on the PC? Which means my dream of playing Bloodborne without having to buy a PlayStation 4 may finally come true.
True, although that's a very fast game. I don't know
Well,
if that's the kind of game I'd want to play
Yeah,
on
I don't. I
a
mean,
streaming service.
with if I'm connected through like I get like whatever fast internet and my PC is plugged into the wall, so might not be an issue. I don't know.
Might not be.
I don't remember ever
would
hearing
still- I
anything
would
good
still-
about PlayStation Now, though.
I would still
it-
rather give it a shot for $20 rather than have to buy a.
Sure.
Yeah, it's still $20 a month. That's really expensive.
I guess. I mean, it's a library of like 400 games. Most of the games on the list right now, maybe not that great, and it's all PlayStation 3 stuff. But
Yeah,
I would
I'd
pay,
rather
I would
just
pay
buy
$20 to
Bloodborne for
check it out.
$20.
And yeah, but then I also have to pay $400 for a PlayStation 4.
Well, no, I would rather buy like a license to stream Bloodborne from PS Now, but it's definitely worth a shot. So when the Switch came out, I noticed that PlayStation 4s actually got cheaper than I'd ever seen them before in Canada. You could get a bundle for $300.
The original ones, or
Yeah, the original ones, and the pros were actually quite expensive. Like with the
were they
4,
trying to phase out the original PlayStation 4s?
Oh, they could
They
be.
want
I
people
don't
to
know.
have the pros.
I
Or the
probably
Slim.
wouldn't buy an OG PS4 at this point, but you know, if it was cheap enough, then it would give me access to a couple games. But I don't know, maybe the streaming is a good solution.
Yeah.
Did
I-
they do the
I don't know if
PlayStation
it's-
4 Slim too? Or
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
is that
Slim.
not-
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that was cheap. It wasn't like an OG launch PS4.
But yeah, I whatever. I'll wait and see. Like, I wouldn't do it until Bloodborne or one of the other interesting PS4 exclusive was on the service. But I would invest $20 just to mess around with it. And,
What if
Try
they
it for a
put
month.
Bloodborne on Switch?
I mean, that's obviously not going to happen. But
What if it's Bloodborne on the Switch,
Uh-huh.
but you can dress your character up like Nintendo characters?
okay.
So does anybody? Kurt, you're the only one here who has a Switch, right?
No,
I have a
Eric has
Switch.
Eric has one.
I've been.
Oh, you
man,
got
I
one.
was the first one to have a Switch.
I didn't know you.
I
got a
literally
Switch.
I went to Target at like 11:30 in the morning on the day it came out, and they had 8 of them. And I was like,
I did
well,
exactly that, and they had 0 of them. If it had been there like an hour before, they were like, "Yeah, we did have them, but not now."
Because I've decided that I'm going to treat myself and I'm going to get one if I can find one, which I can't.
Have you tried looking at local stores too, or are you just looking?
The problem is all the big box retailers are real far away from where I live.
Okay.
So, like, I go downtown every week. Long story, but like on the weekend, I can get to an EB Games, which is like the worst place in the world to try to buy a hot new console. And there's like a whatever the Radio Shack became. There's one of those. So like I can check them every Saturday, but yeah, I think the odds that I'll find one in the middle of downtown are
that
pretty
doesn't
poor.
seem very likely.
Like I'd need to go to the Best Buys, but the closest one from here is at least a 20-minute drive each way, and I don't know, like I won't know that they have any unless I show up just kind of on spec, and
Yeah.
you know.
This big game is
When I went-
Splatoon. So
When I went to the Target, they were like, "We don't have any now, but come back on Sunday and we will." So
And then
you know,
went
maybe
back
you can
on
find
Sunday
out when
and
they're
got
going
one?
to restock. No, because I was flying to New York at that point.
they'll
All right,
probably
that's right. You
start.
got it from the GameStop.
Yeah, I got it from GameStop. In
I just can't do a lot of like speculative trips out to big box stores on the weekend because you know I've got a family that I don't want to abandon.
Probably start like restocking them a ton come around like May and early June because it's Splatoon.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be.
want to move consoles with the next flagship game.
But anyway, so in the meantime, I got this kind of dilemma, which is, I mean, Final Fantasy X is great, but I'm going to be done with it in not that long.
Mhm.
And like 100 zillion RPGs are coming out right now, and they're all games that I kind of want to play. So like, if I could buy a Switch, I'd try the Zelda because that actually looks like something that I might enjoy, even though I'm not like a Zelda guy. But there's also Persona 5, except that my PlayStation 3 is in shitty shape, and I don't know that I want to play 80 hours of it on that console. And there's also Mass Effect coming out like next week.
I
Mass Effect looks
canceled
really
my
bad.
pre-order of Mass Effect Andromeda about 4 hours ago, watching the Giant Bomb stream because that looked pretty rough.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
from a story standpoint, or
kind of from an everything standpoint.
Did you see the dialogue wheel?
Yeah, the dialogue wasn't, the writing was not good. The
So-
faces are fucking crazy. The way
So
it seems like they tried to animate like micro expressions so that way like the characters would like have like, you know, like actual people, their eyes move and their mouths move in ways that aren't necessarily super predictable. But instead it just looks like everybody's flipping the fuck out all the time. Like their eyes are like, you know, like the lazy eye scene from Fievel Goes West. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie.
I've seen. I'm sorry.
But there's there's a cat that is a cowboy, and he tries to learn this move called the lazy eye from a dog cowboy, and his face like freaks out and does all these crazy things, and that's kind of what the faces in Mass Effect look like sometimes.
I lost my
Pretty
shit with
crazy.
that one video going around of the main character going, "My father is dead," and like looks at the other NPC with like this blank stare and this sly smile.
Right, with the huge, like, big, weird eyes. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. And yeah, the dialogue didn't look good, the story. But this is, like, early, so it might get better. I don't know.
So
Yeah, I am gonna wait for reviews, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I got burned on Dragon Age Inquisition. That game sucked hard, and I don't necessarily believe that they have it in them to write a good story. I want it to be good. I really want it to be good. I like Mass Effect a whole bunch, but I am gonna wait and see what the word on the street is.
Yeah.
So the thing
Also,
going around Twitter like a
We're
few
2
hours
weeks
ago.
from Persona, which I'm definitely getting and playing on PlayStation 3.
Persona is
so-
very
I know, but that's not. But my problem is we're talking about my problems now, Eric.
Okay, sorry.
So there's a thing going around
didn't mean to be
Twitter
selfish.
of the Mass Effect dialogue wheel, and apparently, like, one of the gripes is the dialogue wheel apparently just flat out tells you this is the right answer, this is the wrong answer, this is the sex answer, and it shows it with
Wow.
like symbols like a heart and stuff like that. But one of the things for like
Well, that's like
banging one of
the
the NPCs
Inquisition
is
wheel.
literally it's literally two hands, one making a hole, and the other putting a finger in the hole.
Wow.
Was that real?
That is real.
It can't be real.
I thought that
That
was
can't
something
be
somebody
real.
invented.
I
That's
don't
not
think
real.
so.
saw
I mean,
that.
A, I kind of love that, and B, can I just always choose the sex answer?
Yeah.
Welcome
It's
to
Mass
our
Effect,
store.
so
Let's do it.
yes.
I'm not Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite emoji in this wheel.
It's like the Mass Effect 2 interrupts, except you always just sex the person.
Yeah.
Oh no, how do I do this puzzle?
Pull the right trigger to sex.
All right, so Eric, we've established that you are Mr. Game. You own all the games. You have the Switch. You're getting the Persona. Good for you.
Okay. I'm not getting Mass Effect, so
True.
Is BioWare doing this one or?
yeah. It's
Yeah,
BioWare.
so.
But
BioWare
see,
Montreal.
a lot of the management, I mean, obviously the doctors are both gone, the guys
Yeah.
that founded BioWare, but also
Right.
a lot of the other like upper management, like game directors and producers and stuff have also left in that time period. And I never played Dragon Age Inquisition because that game looked bad.
It was
and,
bad.
And Mass Effect looks a lot like what I
thought it was
remember
fine.
Dragon Age Inquisition looking like, which is a real shame.
Yeah, I don't know. I played 40 hours of Dragon Age Inquisition. I didn't get to the end. I can't remember most of the characters' names or what they were doing. You just show up and it's just like endless info dump about lore, and none of it was interesting. And it seemed like if you hadn't already sunk in enough time into both of the first two games, that there was kind of no reason to care about what was happening.
Oh, had you not played either of those?
No, I remember every time like a big story decision came up, I was just like, "Fuck, I don't care." Like, okay,
Whatevs.
go
Let me
against
go
the
fight
church
demons,
or
man.
something. Like,
The first game is quite good.
First game is good.
Yeah. The second game,
Some of the stories in the first game are quite good.
I think the first game is a very good one of those style
Mass
RPGs.
Effect?
No,
Or Dragon-
No,
Dragon Age.
Dragon Age.
The second one could have been good, except it's the same. You just do the same dungeon 1,000 times.
Yeah, the second one, the story actually, Act 2 of that story is really good.
I never got that far.
Yeah,
maybe some
but
fans
the,
will KOTOR 2
but the
Dragon Age
repeats
2
of
and
the
like put in a
fucking
bunch of stuff.
dungeons is just annoying.
I don't remember where to go next. I got the crank.
Actually,
Can I do something with the crank?
Easy.
You have to do that on the roof, and I couldn't open that door.
yeah. What do you show me? What's in your inventory?
I
real
got the
quick.
spade key and the crank.
Racist.
Two red
to open
jewels.
the spade door then, don't you?
So you need to use the spade key until you have no more spade doors, I believe.
It's
Duh.
like your pets.
It's not racist. It's named after David Spade.
I mean, it's just.
That's the name.
Oops! I keep hitting the B button to. It's always A. Here we go. All right, well, let's see. There's another door there.
I might have missed this part, but Joe, I guess I'll direct this question to you. Is there anything particularly noteworthy about the GameCube version of this game?
It's all on
I
one
said at
disc.
the beginning, it's all in one disc. Yeah, that's really
You
the
can
only thing.
change between characters at will, but it's just like switching between save files at will.
Ah.
It's a diamond keyhole.
I didn't know they had an NPC named Will.
Every time you see him, you can change characters.
Claire's hanging out with him the whole game.
Yeah. It's Sherry Birkin's uncle. Wasn't actually his name is William Birkin, right?
William Birkin. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is Will that comes after you hard.
Billy B.
That's right.
I guess did I not try this door?
Isn't
Last
it
time?
marked on the map where there the different crest doors, the different card
The
suit
doors that you haven't opened are marked, but it doesn't tell you what the crest is, unfortunately.
Oh, it's weird. I remember seeing the Maybe that was a particularity of the PC version.
I don't think it ever tells you. It might color. I think it will eventually color code them with "you have this key, you don't have this key." But I don't think it actually tells you like this is this and this is, you know. It doesn't
Is
actually.
maybe blue is one I can open, or purple is one I
I
can
think
open?
so. Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
I thought I could have swore I tried this door after I got this key, but maybe not. I guess not. Okay. And this key is now useless, so I can discard it.
Oh, that's another thing that Resident Evil 7 does not do that's actually kind of frustrating.
It doesn't discard keys when you're
It
done
does
with
not tell you, which is, I mean, it sort of makes sense because how the fuck do you know that the key is useless? But no,
it's a video game? Oh,
it
shit.
doesn't. Right, it doesn't tell you this key is
Oh,
useless
fuck.
now. Would you like to discard? And
Nope,
7
go.
goes back to the like really limited inventory space, especially early on. Like you get a backpack later that expands the amount of room you have.
Mhm.
But in the early game, it's like Resident Evil 1. It's like playing Resident Evil 1 with Jill. You have
Like playing-
you have 8 slots.
Claire has less spaces in this game than Leon. too.
I think no, they have the same. In this one, they have the same.
She just
in
has
the
In
first-
Resident Evil 1,
She just has a different gun.
Yeah, I think so. In Resident Evil 1,
Jill, how's the
Jill
lock
has
pick,
8 spots and the lockpick, and Chris has 6 slots and the
He
lighter.
takes a lot less damage, right?
I think he takes less damage, but without the lockpick and with the less,
still harder.
playing as Chris is harder than playing as Jill. And in this one, I don't think neither one of them is harder. It's just
Is the second playthrough harder? Or...
the second playthrough is harder.
Well,
And also you
there's
can
a
kind of
tyrant
you
to deal with and some other stuff in the second playthrough.
Yeah, and there's some so I was just gonna say you can get there's a side pack you can get in this game which gives you 2 more storage slots, but if you take it when you play through the A scenario, then when your other character comes through on the B scenario, it isn't there anymore. So
Right.
just like in real
It's
life.
also true of some of the first aid sprays too. I think the herbs regenerate or respawn or whatever, but the first aid sprays.
yeah. I never use first aid sprays in this game
know.
though because they drop your
fucks your
grade,
rating up. I think it's
Yeah,
like a
it fucks
full
your rating
grade,
up.
right? Every time you use one.
something like that. But you
Every
basically
time?
you can't unlock any of this bonus weapons and stuff.
Oh man,
If
this
you use
bookshelf
the
puzzle! Oh
first
my
aid sprays.
goodness.
I did play this game enough to unlock 1 or 2 of the secret weapons. Like I was able to do a run of the game with using less than 4 saves or whatever it was that you had to do.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just
so
played through
what?
it once, but I had a friend that was obsessed with it, so I got to see all of that stuff. Like he,
Oh, yeah, I
he did
was-
everything.
I was obsessed with it. I never finished the tofu thing because screw
It's very
doing that
difficult.
with just a knife. But I unlocked everything on my original PS2 copy and unlocked all the special weapons. So you can get all of the weapons in one playthrough. And then so you get them in the B scenario. You play through the B scenario to unlock them originally.
I
That
think there
unlocks
was-
them for
isn't
the
that
A scenario.
Special handgun.
That is in. You're thinking of the Resident Evil 1 remake, I think.
No, there's like a
there's
3-shot
there's
burst fire.
Yeah.
thing in this game.
There's a handgun parts. It's not a bonus weapon though. You find the parts in a locked drawer
Oh,
that you
right,
have to
right.
use one of the small keys
The
for.
small keys, right?
Never mind. I have to keep reading them on a delay. I'm like the floor is gonna break. But
Oh, well, that's how you do this
um,
puzzle, though, right?
yeah, that's how you do it. You have to go over. But if you pause for a second, like you're trying to figure out what to do next, and I was gonna be like, just keep walking. Floor breaks.
I keep hitting the start button to go into my inventory, but it's not. It's Y.
It's triangle.
Yeah,
or-
everything
yeah,
is
Y.
like a little bit backwards.
But there's shotgun parts and handgun parts in this game that you can get out of a drawer that will increase for the handgun parts they increase the rate of fire and I think the damage output. With the shotgun it just increases the damage output.
Okay, so
First,
first one, skip one, next to each other. skip
but
one.
you can get them all in one playthrough. But you have to be like super strict about that playthrough, and usually it's not really worth it. Like it's easier to get the submachine gun first, and then use that to unlock the rocket launcher and the chain gun. The rocket launcher, I think, is I'm trying to remember.
Whew, puzzled in this game, man. They are real brain teasers.
Yeah, they're real brain busters. The chain gun I know is no saving. You
Okay.
can't save at all. You have to play through the game, and I think you can get to beat it in less than 3 hours, and you can't save a
I
single
might
time.
have done that. I feel like I unlocked the chain gun.
Which means if you die, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't remember not saving, but I remember unlocking the chain gun. I remember saving like less than 4 times. I thought was the criteria.
I'll double check because I've already been wrong about one unlockable on this stream, but I am almost positive that you cannot save a single time.
Because I don't feel like I ever got good enough to play the whole game in one sitting, but who knows? I might have.
So I was looking stuff up about the GameCube version. I saw on the main title screen there was an arrange mode,
Yeah.
Yep.
currently only in the GameCube version, which is like easy mode.
That
think
doesn't
that's-
sound right. The arrange
it?
mode,
I
I
thought
think,
that
is
was
in the
in like the
DualShock.
N64
Yeah.
version.
It might
something
be.
The N64 has an item randomizer too, which changes like bullets and merbs and all that stuff. Just gets like mixed up at random.
Currently,
I should have tried to stream the N64 version of this through emulation, because it just
Does it look
completely
a lot
fucks
better?
up. Well, completely fucks up the character positioning. So like as you're running through that first area with the burned up bus and stuff, your character is
Yeah.
just like sprinting through the pre-rendered backgrounds in a way that's really fucked up and cool looking.
Oh,
but-
there's Magnum parts too that will upgrade your Magnum to a Desert Eagle
right.
because that's how the guns work.
I was gonna
Yep.
say, if you wanted to just show off the game, you probably should have just played through arrange mode.
I mean,
It
I'm
apparently
not showing
gives
off
you
the
like
game, I'm
3
just
secret
playing
weapons,
this
with
shit.
all with like infinite ammo.
It's a square hole.
So according
Do I
to
hear this is
GameFAQs,
Frank
it
with a square?
says to get the Gatling gun, beat the second scenario on normal difficulty in less than 2.5 hours and get an A or B ranking. But-
See that a bit of leeway there.
That I feel like it's more specific than that. Like I don't think that's correct. And I have the original Resident Evil 2 strategy guide around here somewhere, but I don't think I can. I don't think it's like readily accessible to me at this moment.
Well, I'm
But
pretty
it
sure
says-
that I only saved less than like 4 times because that would have dropped my grade by an extra point if I'd saved more than that.
Right, saving drops your grade, so maybe it is that open and it's just do whatever. But I seem to recall it being like specific things to get those high grades is what unlocks the different things. Like one is saves, one is time, and one is something like that. But
Well, I would have been pretty
again, I
fast
could
at the
be
game
wrong.
by that point. I
It's
don't
not
think the
very
2.5
long game,
hours
once
is
you
not
have
the
it
hard
pretty
part.
well memorized, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not wasting time, then I think it's very easy to get that kind of time.
If you know what you're doing, basically, is
Right.
the thing, right? Because a lot of the time wasting is in figuring out where you're supposed to go next.
But like I had already played at least Leon A, Claire B, and then Claire A, Leon B before that, so by the time you've done the whole game 4 times, you got a pretty good idea what the layout is.
Yeah.
I've decided all I want from the remake is just this exact same game with higher resolution pre-rendered backgrounds and a quick turn, and I'm good. That's it. That's all you need to do to make this game kind of perfect.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're gonna. Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I think because I was feeling like
I would be kind of
before
sad if they
Resident Evil
added
7
the,
came out.
the
I felt like
beds to like they had in the remake of the first one. I never really liked those.
the Crimson Heads.
Yeah.
I felt like I remember feeling like they were gonna like Resident Evil 4 style do it because that
Yeah.
was.
I don't know if I'd really
If-
want that though, because that ain't this game.
If they made it co-op and you could have Leon and Claire together, then I would actually be into it.
Or Sherry, and there's actually Resident Evil Revelations too has stuff like that.
If they
If you
made it
have
co-op,
2-player co-op, it's just really complicated to play it in co-op. I think it only works on consoles, maybe, or it has split screen on consoles but not on PC.
In which game?
The Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Yeah, I think
it's-
you're right.
You can do it on PC too, but and it doesn't have like online or whatever.
say if they do it co-op, I want them to do like the noodle arms that Resident Evil 6 had.
Poverty Game Night says tips and tricks says beat scenario B with an A or B rating in under 2.5 hours to get the chain gun. So I guess that's right. I feel like at some point I unlocked something by playing through without saving, but
Is that
I don't know if
Tofu?
maybe I didn't have to do that. Maybe I did that and put myself through that.
Is that Tofu maybe?
No, tofu. I think you have to do something to. I don't remember how to get tofu, and like he's not worth getting anyway. So I think that has something to do with how you do. I think you have to do a certain thing with hunk to get tofu. I thought.
Oh, maybe it's B. I don't, like I said, I didn't do any of that stuff. I just played through it.
The last time I played through this game was the N64 version, and I played through it with the infinite machine gun, the submachine gun.
Mhm.
And it becomes really easy because you can just, I mean, anything. Once you have, like, it's just like, okay, we're done here.
Yeah, this game's
Because
not
you can
that
just
hard,
mow
really.
everything down. No, this game isn't super. Well, the B scenarios can be tough.
Yeah, the tyrant makes it tough.
Yeah,
Poverty Game
because
Night says saving lowers your rating.
Yeah, but I
saving
think it
definitely
goes.
lowers
I
your
think
rating.
there are like levels where like saving once probably brings it down a bit, but then I think you can save a few times before it drops it again.
Yeah, the save room music in this game is really good too.
Save
There's a
room music in the
compilation-
first like several was like very similar. It
There's
was
a
like,
compilation video you can find that's just all the save room musics from all the different Resident Evil games, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah, there was an
It's actually
episode of
kinda cool to
Retronauts. There's an episode of Retronauts that Bob Mackey did like 2 Halloweens ago, where he just like it was just all the save room themes. But yeah, they're like variations on a theme until, I think until like 7 maybe. Well, the ones that had a save rooms, because I guess like 4, 5, and 6 didn't have.
Yep.
Yeah, didn't
No,
have
but I think they
save
still
rooms.
had that kind of music like in the shop areas.
I don't think
Maybe.
4 did, because the shopkeeper could show up just about anywhere.
But there were some areas
It
where the
had-
shopkeeper was that were safe areas.
Yeah.
What are you buying?
Oh man.
Wasn't there music when you're like actually in the shop itself though? Shop.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, there
I
are
feel
some
like I
places
just
where he
played some
actually
of
has
that
like a
at
shop.
Halloween, but I don't remember.
That game's so good. I should replay that. I haven't played that game in a minute. That game's really good.
I can never really get into it.
4? Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the first chapter, and that's about it.
It gets a little silly towards the end.
That's
I
a
don't like
Resident
the-
Evil game.
I don't
They
like
all
the
get
castle.
fucking silly.
I don't
every-
remember what the third chapter is.
The third chapter is the castle, isn't it?
That's not the second chapter.
The village. Oh no, so it's the village, then the castle. Then
Yeah, the castle's real good.
There's like a lab in
Just
like
the
this
one that goes
weird
outside.
industrial area, kind of.
Which
But
that's the part that has the crazy unkillable mutants that like you have to use the thermal goggles to find the
Regenerators.
weak spots.
yeah, the regenerators. Yeah.
Those guys freak me out.
Very clear that they keyed into the fact that people were creeped out by the regenerators because in 7 the basic enemies are like they're not strictly speaking they're not regenerators, but they bear more than a passing resemblance.
Hmm.
Whatever happened to that Resident Evil 4 fan game where the guy was trying to recreate the original idea? Where Leon was like haunted mansion.
Oh, I don't know who. The thing that I'm actually really interested in is someone's trying to make the Resident Evil 2, the first
original
version of
Beta.
Resident Evil 2, playable.
Did
like,
that go
for-
anywhere? Because I remember them saying they had it in a playable state, but then never heard anything about it.
Yeah, they had it in a playable state, and they keep like sporadically posting updates of like, we're still doing this, we're still working on it, but like,
I gotta say, as far as jump scares grow, a bunch of crows, not really that effective these days.
smashing through the window and squawking.
They're more annoying than they are scary.
Yeah, I think you can like sneak past them later on, right?
Yeah, you can always just run past them. You have to go downstairs and get the
Alone or in Paris?
get the. You have to roll over your neighbor's dog and get the valve handle so that you can put out the fire.
My son has a Slinky, and I decided to try it on my basement stairs, and it works really good, even on like very steep stairs.
Yep. You get a real slinky, they do.
Yeah, it is a real Slinky.
Not a bullshit plastic slinky.
Exactly.
No, metal.
A slinky.
Although he's pulled on a
Yes.
little bit, so it has one
AKA
gap that's a little
a
too
slinky.
big.
So a friend of mine that some of you have met got into a prank tit for tat with his boss, and his boss unslunk his slinky.
Straightened it.
Wow.
Yeah, he
John
straightened
style.
it just into a ball of wire.
I would have straightened it out as long as possible, and just like I don't know,
That's
left it
really
in the
well.
hallway or something.
Really, all you have to do is just tangle it a little bit, and that's pretty much the death of the
It's pretty
slinky.
much fucks at that
Yeah.
point, exactly.
There's still that one video on Twitter that always cracks me up every time I watch it. It's a video of a guy playing with a slinky that just says, "I'm real good at this," and he gets ready to do the slinky down the stairs, and it just flings it down the stairs, the whole thing.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Can't wait to find out what that was.
I opened a door.
Oh,
and
yeah,
some
you
zombies
don't.
came through the door.
Sorry, I should have told you don't open that door because all that happens is enemies come in.
Oh, I thought there was something on the other side. I thought there was some.
Nope. You can't. Once you kill him, you can't even. If you try to go out that door, it'll just say like, "I'm not going out there."
Man, so the zombies coming through during the door animation, that was one of the things that really freaked me out. And it made me worry about that happening for the rest of the game, even though I don't think it ever comes up again.
I don't think there's. I should just ran right because there's nothing else in this room after I do this except for the save point.
No, there's not.
For some reason, I thought there was herbs on the other side of that door.
Yeah, shoot their legs, karate kick them.
Okay, it's been a really long time since I played this though, so. Yeah, too bad you can't do any karate kicks.
That's another worry I would be worried about if with a remake of this is like, are they going to go back to like kind of wimpy Resident Evil 2 Leon, or are they going to go with karate expert badass Resident Evil 4 Leon?
I hope he's kind of wimpy because that's part of the character arc.
Yeah.
It's one of the few character arcs in the full fucking series that actually makes sense. Unlike Chris, like spending the off season on a really strict steroid regimen or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say this game does not have enough kicking doors open.
Rock punching.
Yeah.
Shooting missiles into monsters' eyes. There's a little bit of
in a
that.
volcano.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of. I
Volcanoes.
mean, there's one giant eye that I can think of in this game, right?
And you shoot a rocket at it.
It really looks like someone's peeing on that helicopter.
Oops. Let's combine this. I don't remember what's in the helicopter. Is it another key?
I don't know if you can go in the helicopter. Oh no, there's like an ink ribbon or something. There's like nothing.
Some gun. Well, what did I put out the fire for then?
Because it's burning in the hallway and you can't get into the door
right.
to go like.
That's right. I didn't go that way. I just skipped it because I knew I had to come out here, but I couldn't. I have like some memories of the things I'm supposed to do, but not a lot. I think. Can I just walk by these crows? No, I guess that's disturbing them. I'm just gonna book it. Go that way. I want to go here. Nope, leave me alone, crow. No. So I made it through the first 2 seasons of Mystery Science Theater 3000 during my.
They're on Netflix now, right?
During my
Or
Zelda
something?
replay. I don't know. I still have a folder of VHS rips that I downloaded via torrent like
Somebody said that I wasn't
Almost
sure if it was all of them or
10 years
It's
ago.
like
Or what?
it's like 40 episodes, and it's a bunch of the like quote unquote classic ones, like Manus Hands of Fate and stuff included.
nice. I think it was the guy that played the Master just died.
What?
Yeah, I think I heard that.
Yeah.
A true master.
Also, I noticed a Manos Hands of Fate reference in Gravity Falls.
I don't know what Gravity.
Sounds like
Gravity
something
Falls
you
is
would
a
do.
cartoon show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good cartoon show.
Probably
pretty
is. Oops! I keep hitting the wrong fucking button here. I'm struggling with these menus.
You can just remap the buttons, right? You're playing on an emulator.
Yeah, I could, but I wouldn't know necessarily which ones to use.
Because I played this game on the PC using a Gravis gamepad, and I had no idea what the official key bindings were, I think I made up a system that is nothing at all like the official gamepad.
Poverty Game Mite says Chris got so swole. That's true.
He's very swole. When I got Code Veronica on the Dreamcast, I was like, what are these buttons doing here? And I was like, oh, it actually makes a lot more sense that you'd press one of the shoulder buttons to like aim the gun
Yeah.
or something.
Doesn't look like it's possible to get to the other side. Nope, but I can go over here and go in the store. All right, we should probably end this pretty soon.
Yeah, it's getting real late, and I got to
I'm
get up
surprised
to
you guys are
shovel
still
snow
up,
tomorrow.
actually, but
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah,
of
it's-
snow to shovel tomorrow.
Past 11:30, I think.
You don't get enough snow to get a snow blower. Or you just are you
I don't
shoveling
have a
just
driveway.
Out? Yeah, you're sidewalk shoveler.
I'm shoveling out the car. It's more the bank of snow
Yeah.
between the car and the road, which is the problem. And I guess a snowblower would kind of help, but I'd also be maybe a huge asshole for using it because I'd be just shooting the snow on other people's cars.
Yeah, you don't need a snow.
That's part of the fun of a snowblower.
hmm
When you have a whatever a 50-foot driveway, you kind of need a snowblower. Let's do this puzzle. I'm gonna see if I can solve this puzzle, and then we'll call it a night.
Man, if only. What are you gonna even do
I don't know.
with these two matching indentations on these statues?
Put the lighter in it.
You need to fill them with Jello and then make a mold.
I found the king plug. Put
Doesn't
it
this
right up your butt.
puzzle drop a monster on you?
I think a liquor? I thought a liquor dropped through that thing, but I guess not.
No,
Maybe
no,
it's
you're
in the
thinking of
B
there.
game.
There. No. In the B game,
Does the
there's a
tyrant
room
show up?
like this, but the tyrant shows up. But that's in the one where you have to turn on the flames. Like you light the thing, and then you have to turn on the flames for the corresponding things, and then the tyrant bursts through the wall. The liquor comes through the two-way glass in the interrogation room.
Oh yeah, of course.
I
Everyone
remember
remembers that.
But I thought like they show you that that little stained glass thing above the door, and I thought something came through that, but all right. Let me go save this.
You gonna pick it up later?
I'm gonna play some more of this, yeah, at some point. I don't know if I'll stream it or not, but I'm enjoying this. This is still pretty good, actually. It's just like the tank controls are annoying or whatever, but it like the whole game is designed around those, and like the way that the enemies are placed and the way that you can sort of kite them and dodge them just makes sense and feels good to me still.
You get this kind of like sliding along the wall thing. It's like
Yeah,
you're
the
slipping,
Resident Evil
slip-
slide, man.
You're slipping and sliding down the hallways.
Yeah. It's unique and it still feels cool, so anyway, that's some Resident Evil 2. That game is still pretty awesome.
I would say probably still the best in the series.
It's 2 or 4 for me for sure. They're very
And
different.
there's not a lot
games.
to compare between them. They're so different.
Yeah.
This is basically an adventure game with shooty bits.
Yeah. The shooty bits are pretty good. You can shoot zombies' heads off. That's pretty cool. All right, so that's some Resident Evil 2. We'll see you next week with something else. I don't know.
Bye,
what.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
I was gonna stream some Mass Effect, but I don't know that I'm gonna get Mass Effect now, so I don't know what we're doing next week, but we'll figure it out. All right. Good night.